Visceral fat, often referred to as abdominal or belly fat, plays a crucial role in cushioning our organs and maintaining bodily functions. However, the trouble arises when there is an excess of this fat, which can lead to a range of health issues, particularly the development of metabolic syndrome. This syndrome, characterized by a cluster of conditions such as increased waist circumference, high blood pressure, high triglyceride levels, high blood sugar, and low HDL, good cholesterol, significantly raises the risk of serious conditions like heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. While metabolic syndrome was once mostly seen in older individuals, its prevalence among younger people has been steadily increasing. In fact, research suggests that as many as 1 in 5 young adults in the U.S. now suffers from metabolic syndrome, signaling a troubling trend that warrants urgent attention. The rising rates of metabolic syndrome in younger populations emphasize the importance of preventive measures and interventions, especially when considering the long-term risks associated with such a condition. Fortunately, there is hope. The good news is that making mindful dietary changes can substantially lower the risk of developing metabolic syndrome, potentially reversing its course. One promising intervention, as demonstrated in research from Vanderbilt University Medical Center, involves swapping high-carbohydrate snacks with nuts. Their previous findings suggested that this simple dietary adjustment could help reduce abdominal fat and, by extension, lower the risk of metabolic syndrome. This led to further research published in May 2025 in Clinical Nutrition, which aimed to uncover the specific mechanisms behind these promising results. In the study, 84 adults aged 22 to 36 with one or more metabolic syndrome risk factors were recruited. These individuals were randomly divided into 2 groups. One group consumed tree nuts as snacks, while the other group consumed high-carbohydrate snacks such as pretzels and animal crackers. Over the course of the study, participants had their abdominal fat tissue aspirated and analyzed for gene expression and fatty acid composition. The results were intriguing, showing that those who consumed nuts had significant improvements in fat intake quality, particularly an increase in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, which are known to support heart health and reduce inflammation. While the study did not show drastic changes in the types of fat stored in the abdominal fat tissue, the gene expression results were noteworthy. The nut group exhibited increased expression in genes associated with fat breakdown, aiding HDL cholesterol in removing bad cholesterol and supporting immune function. These gene expressions are particularly important in reducing chronic inflammation, a key factor in the development of metabolic syndrome and other chronic diseases. In essence, the research suggests that incorporating nuts into the diet can positively influence the body's metabolic processes, improving fat metabolism, reducing harmful cholesterol, and potentially lowering the risk of disease. However, it is essential to note that this study had its limitations. The relatively small sample size of 84 participants, along with the study's 16-week duration, means that the results may not be fully conclusive. The short time frame may not have been sufficient to observe substantial changes in abdominal fat or its long-term effects on metabolic health. Additionally, the reliance on self-reported food diaries introduces the potential for bias and inaccuracies, which could have affected the study's findings. Despite these limitations, the results provide valuable insight into the potential benefits of incorporating nuts into one's diet, especially when seeking to manage visceral fat and reduce metabolic syndrome risk. Beyond the study's findings, it is also important to consider how these results can be applied in real life. Nuts are a rich source of brain and heart-healthy fats, plant protein, vitamins, and minerals. Regular consumption of unsalted, raw, or dry-roasted nuts has been linked to improved heart health, better brain function, stable blood sugar levels, and healthier body weight. For those looking to reduce abdominal fat, nuts could be a simple yet effective dietary addition. However, it is important to choose nuts wisely, opting for unsalted versions or lightly salted varieties to avoid excess sodium, which can raise blood pressure and negate some of the health benefits. Despite the positive findings, it is crucial to understand that no single food can serve as a magic bullet for weight loss or disease prevention. A holistic approach to health, including regular physical activity, adequate sleep, and a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins is key to achieving long-term health goals. Moreover, paying attention to factors like bloating, gas, and food sensitivities potentially caused by certain foods or additives can also be critical in maintaining a healthy gut and overall well-being. Consulting with a registered dietitian can help fine-tune dietary choices and avoid foods that may cause unwanted discomfort or exacerbate existing health issues. Ultimately, while swapping high-carb snacks with nuts may have beneficial effects on abdominal fat and metabolic health, it is important to remember that diet alone is only one piece of the puzzle. The combination of healthy eating habits, regular exercise, stress management, and adequate sleep forms the foundation for improved metabolic health and a reduced risk of chronic disease. Although the research shows promise, it also serves as a reminder that achieving lasting health requires consistent, well-rounded efforts that go beyond the latest dietary trend. In conclusion, the study underscores the potential benefits of nuts in reducing abdominal fat and improving metabolic health. By increasing the intake of heart-healthy fats, nuts can help modulate fat metabolism, reduce inflammation, and support the body's immune function. However, as with any dietary change, moderation and balance are key, and further research is needed to confirm these findings and assess the long-term impact of such dietary adjustments. As always, a comprehensive approach to health, incorporating diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes, remains the most effective strategy for reducing the risk of metabolic syndrome and other chronic diseases.